Welcome back. I think the time has come for me to play another rapid game. I'm going to do that on chess.com. I have pulled up the screen. I am going to play 10 minutes, as I might have mentioned in a couple of recent videos. Honestly, after playing a few 15 plus 10s, I would rather lose on time than play those really long games and lose anyway. I think my ideal time control would probably be 10 plus 5, which is one of the defaults on Lichess. But here on chess.com, if I set 10 minutes with a 5-second increment, which you can do using this custom field, you can select more time controls. Right here, I can select 10 plus 5, but nobody will get paired with me. I've tried it several times. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to just play 10 minutes, and I'll be fine if I lose on time, because I'm getting pretty used to losing regardless of the clock. So let's just click play and see what we get. Okay, we got the black pieces, and we got a d4 opening. So I will play knight to f6. See what my opponent plays. Okay, I got this the other day and it threw me off, putting that knight in front of the c-pawn. I think I have to play d5 here, and then they played a pawn to right there. Okay, they're not doing it here. This is the Chigorin variation. It's almost like the London, except that pawn gets stuck. So I'm going to let out my dark squared bishop and castle, I think is what I'm going to do here. See how my opponent plays it. Yeah, the last time that I got that, they played e5, and it was like the Blackmar-Deemer gambit or something. I don't know if I should put this here to trade that off. I'm actually just going to pin the knight and hope to castle, unless they threaten the bishop immediately, in which case I'll take. Okay, they didn't threaten the bishop immediately. They just protected their knight, so I will castle. Be done with that. I think I can hop this knight in here now, can't I? Because that knight's stuck. Or, yeah, now is when they threaten. Okay, now do I bring the bishop back and trade off for their dark squared bishop? Although that's their bad bishop, isn't it? I don't know. But this is my good bishop. All right, I'll put it back here. I think it's my good bishop because it goes between all these pawns, right? Also, I don't know if I should play knight to h5 at some point to threaten that bishop. I do need to get some other pieces developed. Maybe play c5. Okay, they're aiming right here. How come I never think of that when I'm playing d4? I never get these two pieces lined up on that pawn. Well, I guess right now the only way I can defend that pawn is either by pushing this bishop here, which they could just take. Wait, I was about to trade for their bishop anyway. Maybe I should just do that. Or I can get this knight out here. Let's try that, see what happens. I guess I'm at a low enough rating now where people play the Chigorin variation. I haven't seen that in a while, since I was in the thousands or 1100s. Once I got up into the 1200s, nobody played the Chigorin variation, which is putting the knight in front of the c-pawn. So I haven't faced this or any version of this in a long time. Okay, I know what they're doing here. They're getting out of the way of that bishop. I think I can just push this pawn now, though, and make that knight run away. And then, okay, and now I can push this pawn to keep that bishop from developing and hitting my knight at the same time, I think. And then I can put this bishop here and maybe reroute this knight back in here. Although they could play A or B pawns at this point. Yeah, something like that. Well, this is coming back in here to defend that pawn. I think I just said that. Let's see. I come back here and they take, and I take back, and they take with the bishop. I guess I could just move my knight again at that point, or defend it with my bishop. Yeah, I think I'll be fine. Or they could take the knight. They could take the knight with their bishop first, this way. They took with the pawn, okay? I thought I had pre-moved that, but I guess I undid the pre-move by accident. That's weird. When I want to undo a pre-move, I can't. I guess I'll take that for their knight, and they're a pawn ahead. Okay. Developing my last piece to get a rook off the back rank here. Now they're threatening to come in here, but if they come in with the knight, I can just move the rook, and if they come in with the bishop, I can just move the queen. Because before I couldn't move the rook because my pieces were still in the back rank. So I think that's the difference here, and so I'm not worried about this position other than that knight's just really annoying. Okay, well now the knight's pinned. So I'm not too worried about it right now. Not immediately anyway. Wait, can that bishop go anywhere? Oh yeah, I could go here. But then I could play the f4 pawn. Why don't we just do that? Oh crap, I just hung my knight. Never mind. Okay. Wow. Okay, I am playing below my rating at this point. Well, we have learned not to trust the game review graph there, so I am not going to trust it, but it looks like my opponent blundered there, and then I blundered right back, so I should have done something very interesting at that point. So I'm just going to go to there, because that looks like the important part of the game, and maybe I shouldn't have resigned so soon, but it says that was a blunder, and what I had to do was queen to b6. Okay, that makes sense. It protects this for when I take with the rook, and it threatens that. And it says at that point they would castle. That's what the line says, that they would castle, and then I would put my bishop here, which would aim at that rook and hide that completely. Okay, that makes sense. Would they actually castle if I did that? I don't know. They might assume I was just attacking this pawn and move it, but it does say castling's their best move, and f3 is their second best move, and queen to d3 is their third best move. Now, if they play queen to d3, I would take the knight, which if they took with the rook, then I would take back and it would be done. But if they castled here, I would threaten their rook down there and block off their rook from seeing this knight altogether. And if they played f3, I would do that, which would prevent them from castling. And that game was so short, and sorry, there's a little pop-up down here. It says I have an outgoing challenge. No, I don't. I just played it. That little pop-up started a week or so ago, and it's getting annoying. It just sits there during the game and during the game review telling me that I made an outgoing challenge. Sorry, I interrupted myself with that distraction. But anyway, what I was going to say is that game was so short, I'm just going to play another one. I don't even feel bad about that loss. Do I have to click play? Okay, sorry, I had to click too many times. So I got the black pieces twice in a row, but we're going to get a Caro-Kann defense this time, and they've done the f4 thing, which we've seen way too much lately, haven't we? We've seen that a lot lately. Have I not stopped to look up what the best move is for that? Okay, I think if I play d5 here, they push past, don't they? Okay. Yeah, that's the third or fourth time, and in the last 5 times I've played the Caro-Kann that I got that, okay, they didn't push past. Interesting. Okay. Now I can get this knight out. It looks like they want to put their knight in there, but, I mean, I guess they could. Well, they're also protecting that pawn, I suppose. I mean, I can put my knight in there too, I think, since they've pushed all those pawns without developing. I also need to play e6 here pretty quick. Well, let's pin their knight and then play e6, unless they take or threaten my bishop over there, obviously. Okay, they did that instead. Okay, then that would have been a pretty good time to castle, wouldn't it? Instead of moving that bishop there to protect this pawn. I can't take the pawn anyway because my knight's pinned. Okay, very interesting. But if they'd castled, that would have put another defender on this knight, and it would have allowed their queen to move. Okay. I'm playing e6, not sure what they're going to do here. They might take, and then I'll take back. Or they might threaten my bishop, in which case I will trade it for that knight. Now they castled. Well, I can put this knight in here, or I can get this bishop out. Let's get the bishop out. And if they don't take this knight, I'm going to castle. Okay, I am going to castle so that I can then move that knight. Well, I don't have very many places I can move it. I can put it here and make that bishop feel kind of dumb for sitting out there, or I could force the issue, because they're about to trap this bishop here, aren't they? Let's just get it out of the way and maybe go in there with it to hit that bishop. Yeah, that's fun. Let's see. They take my bishop, then they will be threatening my knight as well. So I should move it to here, I guess, and then threaten that bishop, but now it can go all the way back, which maybe it wants to. Nope, they're going to hit that one. Okay, well, let's go there, which I'd been talking about for a little while. Okay, and then let's hop in here. I'm threatening that bishop. I don't think my opponent can see my arrows, but that would be sad if they could. That bishop is also the only thing protecting this pawn right now. Okay, they've moved to protect that bishop, which is fine. Let's see. Can't quite take that pawn yet. They still have 2 defenders on it. I could push this, but then they take, and then they're wedged in there. Let's see if I can get some counterplay over here on this side. This way, or this way. Should I open up my rook now? No, wow. Okay. Well, then let's push that bishop back. It wants to go forward. Well, that's fun. Go here. Oh, and that's another reason for that bishop being here is it's preventing my rook from coming back. All right. Well, are they going to take, or are they going to wait for me to take? I was honestly thinking of wedging that in there. Oh, they want to force the issue over here. Okay. Well, let's take that. And I guess I can put this knight in here now. Let's put that knight in there now, where it's going to have all kinds of fun, hopefully. It protects that bishop, so not bad. I think it'd be so fun if they put their queen right there, but they're not going to, are they? Let's see, what can I do? Should I trade for that? I don't think so, because then they can either lock this up or lock it up that way. I don't know which way they would take or which way would be best. Let's see if I can get my dark squared bishop out of here, out of this little jail that it's in. I assume they're going to take back with the b pawn, but they might not. The reason is because it's hanging right now, so I assume they would take back with this to lock it in there. They didn't. They forked my rooks. All right. Looks like I've lost this one too. Okay. I am going to play it out, though. I'm going to play it out this way. And then, let's see, does that leave that undefended? No, their rook is still defending that. I can threaten their queen, but then their knight would take my bishop for free. So they're threatening my rooks. I should probably threaten one of theirs. And that silly bishop is sitting there undefended, and I can't do anything about it. Okay, let's see. Why didn't I threaten their rook, right? Oh, they moved their rook. They saw that I was thinking about coming here. Well, that's pretty smart of them. Well, now I kind of got my knight in a jam. It kind of has to go back to where it was, doesn't it? Well, I mean, it's not under threat right now, and it can't always go back here. So, should I give up the knight for a rook, or should I give up the bishop completely? Oh, wait. No, it's not. It's not giving it up completely. Just pinned their queen to their king. So they have to take with their knight, I think, or I get their queen. Oh, or they could do that. Okay, well, that got that pesky knight out of here. I thought for a second about putting my queen here to threaten that bishop, but then the knight could go there. Oh no, if the knight went there, then I would take their queen with check. So why not do that? That bishop's undefended. It needs to run away. I mean, I guess it could come in here, but then if it came in there, I would take the knight. So I think it has to run away. Oh, the king has moved. Okay, it wants to take my knight. Well, I want to take this bishop. Okay, let's take the bishop, and then they can take my knight. And somehow I'm up a pawn. I don't know exactly how that happened. I could trade off another minor piece here, or I could push here and try to trade off that way, but that breaks this pin. I like that pin. I think I want to keep it for a second, but I don't know what else to do. That doesn't do me any good. They can attack immediately, and I'm down to 3 minutes. Okay, I've just got to move so I don't lose on time. But I mean, if I lose on time, I'll be okay with that, as I've said. If they take, I guess I'll take. I can always bring the bishop back, I think. Okay, now they want to move the knight with a discovered whatchamacallit. Where are they going to move the knight? Here? I mean, if they do, I would take their queen and be threatening a rook. That's not a good idea, but I can get one of the rooks out of the little pin that we had going on there. They're going to take that pawn back, which is fine. I'm up 2 pawns. I'm about to do this, I think. See how bad that is in just a second. They're going to take. Wait, am I ahead? I was just playing defense, by the way. Just trying to keep myself from losing all my pieces. But it looked like I somehow came out okay. Now I don't know. Should I check? Or should I check here and force the queen trade? That's what I should do. That's check. And then put my rooks together. And then maybe do some things with my pawns. Okay, they're going to try to get a pawn passed. I need to make a little hole for my king to get out from. Oh, I should have played the g-pawn, right? Okay, I'm not too worried about that because I'm going to come in this way. And then I think I can go here. And there's nothing that they can do about that pawn. I mean, they can check me, but I just take the rook, right? Yeah, I'm going to take this pawn, threatening their rook. So they need to move their rook someplace. Okay, they moved it there. Okay, not bad. I think I can just take that. And then get behind this pawn, which they can't stop. And when I move that pawn, I'll be threatening the f pawn on f5 with this rook over on the a file. Interesting choice. I will push this pawn. And I am still threatening the pawn on the a file. That's my first win in a long time. And the little graph up there says I had a minus 30 advantage. And their best move would have, it was their, wait, rook b1. Oh, wow, to bring their rook all the way back would have been their best move right here. Interesting. King to g4 is second. That's what I thought they were going to do to prevent me from taking this and that being check, but that wouldn't have stopped this pawn. I guess that's what rook b1 was about, to get in front of that pawn. Well, I ran the game review on my loss. I might as well run the game review on my win. I did have one miss, according to the game review, which we know is, from the last few games, decidedly inaccurate. But no blunders and no mistakes. My opponent only had one mistake, no inaccuracies. I mean, sorry, no blunders or misses, but a bunch of inaccuracies. So you're telling me those were inaccuracies that let me get the lead there. Doesn't show me where their mistake was. Where was my miss? Okay, It was here. I should have done something else. Honestly, I don't even remember what I did. Oh, I took the bishop here, didn't I? But I had something better. Oh, I should have gone ahead and taken the knight. Interesting. It says they would have taken back with the pawn. Then I could have played here because the knight wouldn't be guarding that square anymore, and the bishop would still be hanging, but then they would move the bishop, right? I wanted the bishop. The bishop was more annoying down here to me than the knight was. But yeah, it says, see, the game review said minus 4.47, but the analysis board says it was only minus 2 at this point. Okay, so I should have taken here first, which threatens their queen, so they have to do something about this rather than take here. And they wouldn't take with the queen, or they shouldn't take with the queen. Well, it's actually pretty close. But if either way, whether they took with the pawn or the queen, then I would put this knight here. And if they had taken with the queen, of course, then they would have to move the queen someplace. It actually says that they would take with the rook, but I don't think that they would. They would take with the pawn, I assume, and then I would get the bishop. No, then I would move the knight here. Then they would get the bishop out of the way, right? It says no. Their best move is to trade off the rook for that knight. Really? That's what Stockfish says. I don't think my opponent would do that. I think my opponent would get their bishop out of here, like so. Oh, but then I can take this pawn because my knight's guarding that square. And I would go up another pawn free at that point. No, wait, sorry. Oh, no, it says queen to... Oh, I thought it was saying to take this pawn, but no, it's saying to take here. And then they would sacrifice their rook for that knight, which they should have done a turn ago, but they didn't think of it because it doesn't look like a good idea. Wow. Okay, so that was my only miss, according to the... back up to what we actually did here. When they came for my knight, I took this bishop. How bad did that put us? I still had a -1 here, and they took that. A5 was my best move here, and they should have defended that pawn. It says their next move was inaccurate, but it was their second best move. I think that's more than inaccurate. It took us from -1 to -2.7, 2.8. That's a mistake. And then my best move was to take that pawn. Their best move was to take that with the queen. Okay. Wait, but then wouldn't I have gone here? No, I wouldn't have because the rook, okay. It says I would have sidestepped one. After they took that, I would have just moved over here to still be pointing at the knight, but to be out of the way of that rook. That would have been their best move, but instead they did that. And it was my best move to line up with my queen. And again, they should have taken this pawn with their queen, but they took it with the rook. So I was right here to take that, threatening their queen. It was among their best moves to take there with that rook, and of course my best move to take back. And I'm up -5, 5.6 because I'm up a rook and a pawn, and that adds up to 6, right? Okay. All right, if you made it this far, I have broken my my losing streak. I am going to look at my archive real quick. How do I see just the rapid games? Okay, I am looking at just my rapid games. The one that I just won was here, and the one that I just lost is here. And you can see before that, I had that draw that was on a video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses and a draw in a row. So 6 games in a row without a win, which is probably normal for some people, but usually I kind of go back and forth. I usually don't have streaks longer than 2 or 3, 4 games. Sorry if you heard a little background noise cut in there. That is the air conditioner because it is in the 90s here. It's May in Texas, so we expect it to be in the 90s. I did have 2 wins there back in April. Losses, 1 win, loss. Okay. Now see, back here I was winning more than I was losing, but I was in the 1300s then. And then, yeah, not doing very well back there, but scrolling back up here. See, this is what I've been worried about. My last 6 rapid games on video were losses or a draw until this one. Now that draw is the one that I was ahead, but I ran out of time. So it was timeout versus insufficient material. My rating is lower than I started out today. In the last 90 days, my rating has dropped 69 points. Look at that. Wow. What about all time? I'm still doing better than when I started the channel, because I started the channel in October of 2021. So about here, I was in the low 1100s, and sometime thereafter dropped to about 1059, I think was my low point there, before I started that steady improvement that I was building my channel on up to 1359. And since then, I've kind of wobbled my way back down. But if I'm at 1254 now, was the last time I was there? July of last year. Okay, so 10 months ago. I'm equal to where I was 10 months ago, according to the ratings here on chess.com. But yeah, I think I was at 1256 when I started this video, and now I'm at 1254. So I lost more points for that loss than I gained from that win, which I think makes sense because I think the second player was lower rated than the first one. Also, the more games you play closer together, the less that your points change. if I understand the Glico system correctly. And chess.com does use very close to the Glico system, whereas Lichess uses Glico 2. So please stop calling it ELO. Neither site uses ELO rating system. Thank you for spending your time here. We'll see you next time.